About 5 o'clock here. This is Karl Gerber and the Karl Gerber Workplace Lawyer Show on KBC. We are broadcasting from Studio City, California. We're not on the air right now on AM 790. I want to tell you that the show for this weekend is tomorrow on Sunday at 7 o'clock. It's not a Saturday show. So for October 13th, 2019, please tune in to this channel at 7 o'clock tomorrow, or on AM 790 at 7 o'clock Sunday for what's going to be a really big show. We've got a guest that's going to be appearing that I think you're going to like. You're going to hear stuff like, let me just kind of play it for you. Yeah, when we go on a radio station, we have microphones that have spit covers and it doesn't pick up all that stuff. But if you're doing ASMR, which some people call whisper porn, they have those microphones without any covers on them because they make a lot of sound effects. And our guest tomorrow night is named Reverb. And she is an ASMR genius. She's actually a natural, and she's able to make certain things happen just by her voice. And because she has that special talent, well, there's probably only one person that could be her father. I think we know who that would be. It would be Rhemus Helms, the most important man of Sun Valley, California. And we find out that although Reverb forgot, her half-sister she shared a room with growing up is Cindy D, the most famous landline phone sex operator of the English-speaking variety in the whole world. But apparently they have different fathers. So it's going to be a very funny, over-the-top episode that has, a lot of sound effects, and I don't think they're just going to be as tame as this. We're going to play some ASMR sound effects that Reverb made. We're going to do it until, we get censored. And if we get censored, there's a 30-second delay, and we might not get censored because if you listen to commercial radio or TV, you hear those kind of noises with multiple people. But, no one's saying anything obscene. So I'm just going to warn you, the show tomorrow is really not for people under 13, and it probably is for people 17 and over or 21 and over. But hey, we didn't get to where we are on the Karl Gerber Workplace Lawyer Show by giving you hardcore legal content. I think you know what kind of issues we deal with on the show, and that's why in the last Nielsen's, before we switched to this Saturday time sometimes, we were actually the highest rated, or the second highest rated show for the weekend on KBC AM 790 Los Angeles. And you'll also want to know that those numbers actually beat out many of the numbers of Nielsen listeners during the week. And just so you know, a Nielsen listener has to listen for 15 minutes solid. And you see, oh wow, I gotta turn that off. Let me just, oh whoa, something's coming in. Oh God, you're gonna hear a lot of that tomorrow night. But just so that you know, when you see these YouTube videos where someone has a billion views, and a lot of ASMR artists have a billion views, and all they're doing is getting really close to a microphone and doing things. But at any rate, those views could have been for 1 or 2 seconds, and when you get a Nielsen view, that's for 15 minutes. So, it really isn't that big of a deal to see a video on YouTube with lots of views because people can ping in and out of them. And Nielsen is a different thing. But yeah, ASMR, I didn't know a lot about it. I was told by a mediator that I really should do that on one of my shows, and I think he referred to it as whisper porn. And that was some months back, but we have a pretty busy schedule as to what is going to be on the Karl Gerber Workplace Lawyer Show, and so I don't take all suggestions, and I started looking into this a little bit more and decided that might be something to do. And unfortunately, yesterday, looking for the music that we go to commercials with, I had to spend about a half an hour listening to that crap, and it gave me a headache. I can't stand it. I mean, how many times do you want to hear crinkling noises? It's terrible. It gives you a headache. The tinfoil and all these things that they do. And they really don't do much of anything. And so ASMR seems to be basically a woman with a pretty face, maybe nice eyes, and lipstick. And she does nothing. And she gets 1 billion views. And if you want to know what I think the downfall of Western civilization is, I think it might be the fact that 1 billion people listen to some of these ridiculous ASMR ones. And they're not even pornographic. They're just somebody sitting in a room for an hour making noises. And I was talking to someone I work with, and we're over 40, and we said, we remember going to the movies and we'd see these previews that came on by the Los Angeles Times, and it would show you how these two, a man and a woman, were making sound effects, and they'd be jumping up and down, they'd be wearing tennis shoes because it was a physically demanding job, and they beat rubber together or whatever they do to make these sound effects, and that's what you'd see before a movie started. This wasn't that long ago. It was probably even 10 years ago, but I think that trailer started maybe in the late 80s. But at any rate, that's all ASMR is. It's somebody with a microphone in front of their computer making little tingling noises, and they're not very good at it, and then they whisper, and if they sing and they're whispering, it's so bad. It's not funny. Like if you listen to some really bad music from the 70s or just a really bad record, it's ridiculous, and I don't understand why there'd be so many people viewing this. And I'm not saying that there's like one woman out there only who has 1 billion views on an ASMR video. I'm saying that there's a lot of ASMR videos that have these huge number of views. And I was reading an article recently in Los Angeles Times print edition, and it said that it takes a long time for there to be a song on YouTube that gets 1 billion views. And there was a song by Aha, I think came out in 1985. It didn't obviously get on YouTube in 1985, but it reached 1 billion views, and that was really unusual. There are just not that many videos on YouTube to have 1 billion views, and for ASMR videos to have the number of views they have and the amount of time they've been up, well, again, I think that's the downfall of civilization. We will be covering ASMR tomorrow night on the Karl Gerber Workplace Lawyer Show, KBC AM 790 Los Angeles, from Ventura County to San Diego County, Riverside, San Bernardino counties included. You can certainly stream here on this channel. I would encourage you to. It's going to be a big show. I expect a lot of people to be on the live stream. I expect a lot of people to be listening, even though we're on Sunday. And I'm sorry about these show changes until December 1st. It is an opportunity for a lot of people to listen to the program, and that's how you move up in a radio station. It's an honor that they asked me to start doing the 7 p.m. Saturday shows when available, because if no one's listening or it's a dud show, there are 5 times the number of listeners that there'd be Sundays 7 to 8. And I was asked this weekend to do a show at 11 a.m. on Sunday, and I actually declined, even though that spot is a very big spot and has very big numbers. I just felt that for the listeners to have this any more confusing between Sundays and Saturdays, I would just lose additional listeners. And the other thing, with those Nielsen's and a couple other things I've been looking at numerically, there is a listener base for this show. It did get kind of large because it's been on 1.5 years now, and they're used to listening to it on Sundays at 7 to 8, but I hope some of them are catching the live streams later, or they're listening Saturdays 7 to 8, although Saturdays for people of some certain ages, you tend to do things at 7 to 8, and you don't want to be sitting around listening to an AM radio station, although it is the Karl Gerber Workplace Lawyer Show, which is the most outrageous, edgiest, hippest comedy weekly basis on any commercial radio station. There's nothing like it. It's scripted by me, and I'm supplying the best voice talent in Los Angeles. And Los Angeles is the #2 radio market, but as you know, a lot of film, TV, movie stuff, and animation is done in Los Angeles. And most of our voice actresses and actors are doing video games or cartoons when they're not on the show. Some of them are also in film and TV, but honestly, the best ones are the ones that are just doing animation and they're doing, characters, cartoons. They may do some voices. I say voices, I mean a lot of voices, because a good voice actor or actress, they can do more than one voice on the same show. And you might have even heard that last week where Dumas was also Jaime. He's very talented, that man. He's been on a number of the Karl Gerber Workplace Lawyer shows. Tomorrow we're going to have a very talented voice actress, because if you're doing an ASMR video, it better be a very talented voice actress. That's hard stuff to do. We're going to have sound effects, and we are working on our studio in Sherman Oaks. It's not quite complete. I have a lot of equipment, better soundboards. It may end up sounding even better than the broadcast quality that comes out of KABC Culver City, but it's hard to get together, and it's going to be an abrupt switch, and we may do that sometimes, especially with the show being on Saturdays. But tomorrow night, please tune in Sunday, 7 to 8, Karl Gerber Workplace Lawyer Show, AM 790, or this channel. The show will not be tonight on Saturday. It's going to be a big show. It's going to be about a woman that does ASMR, not of the normal variety. I think you can imagine what kind of variety it is. And as I said before, she makes certain things happen without doing much but her voice. And given that talent, it does appear that, Rhemus Helms would have to be her father. All right, tomorrow night, 7 to 8, Sunday night, October 13th, 2019, Karl Gerber Workplace Lawyer Show on KBC AM 790. I will hear you when you are there somewhere out in the broadcast range. I'll hear you tomorrow. Thank you for tuning in for this update.